Enemy power-up detected.
This is Incoming Missile, a MechWarrior Online podcast. Kia ora and g'day MechWarriors, the Mech Bros are back today, and given how things around the game at the moment are just a wee bit serious, we thought that we might bring you a bit of a fun episode where we have a little bit of a complaint about some of the things that do piss us off about MechWarrior. We are talking about dick moves, and yes, I did say dick as in penis, not deck as in a boat. So just calm down, YouTube auto caption, because we are talking about those things that players do sometimes that, you know, they're dick moves, basically. So they're the things that people do that leave you thinking, for fuck's sakes. Now, personally, I usually just throw my hands up and swear a little at the screen, maybe shake it a little bit. My wife looks at me, wonders what I'm doing. But there are some people that do get a little bit more racked up. So let me welcome in my co-hosts for the episode. The leader of felines himself, Captain Cat, and joining us for the first time, one of our amazing patrons, Nikoro Doomguard. Now, fellas, are you guys the shaky head at the end of the scale, or are you at that other end where you're kind of grabbing your togs and going swimming in the brown sea?
I am much more jaded these days than I used to be, and I tend to just have a bit of a whinge to whoever's around in the Discord and then move on with my life. But there was a time in the past where I would have got a lot more salty and let everyone know how I was feeling. But yeah, I've kind of moved on a bit from that. How about you, Nick?
I'm pretty much in the same boat as you. However, I just have my my 30 seconds of and screaming, and then the mic goes up. No one hears anything else after that. I don't follow any of the forums, so yeah, I don't go there. I just don't go there.
I've spent a bit of time with Nikoro in Discord, and I have known him to have some fairly epic moments. So let's be honest with ourselves here, Nick.
We are lucky to be joined by Nick because, yeah, he is the perfect person for this type of episode. We have put a list together. We've got 5 each, 5 dick moves, things that piss us off and get us racked up. And yeah, Nick has certainly had a few moments in Discord.
We all have.
Yes, expressed some of that frustration. Right, before we do get into the main topic though, there is a couple of new mechs to talk about since last time we had an episode. We had the Rifleman 2C, which has been released, and we have the Dervish, which is being released tomorrow, as at the time of this recording. So, lads, what were your thoughts on the Rifleman 2C? Nick, do you think it is OP, or is it just pretty good?
I haven't played it. I didn't pre-order it when they first announced it, and I saw the initial artwork. I saw that Lord Raiden hat, and just thought that is a one big CT hitbox, and I just didn't go there.
And one of the things you need to know about Nick is that he is very much influenced with his mech choices by how the mech looks, and in particular, you're pretty OCD with mechs being asymmetric.
Guilty.
So if it's ugly, it gets pronounced ugly, and Nick's not interested. Is that about right?
Pretty much. There are some that eventually warm my heart, and I get into them. But on the initial thoughts, it's like, yeah, it's just got to hit me on an aesthetic level first, and then the performance comes after.
I think your gut didn't set you too far wrong there, because although it can boat an epic amount of weapons, it really is quite easy to die to CT destruction in that thing. As you say, the head is mostly CT. Thankfully, they split some of it off into the side torsos. But I do find myself getting shot in the back when I'm being shot from the front and fun stuff like that. I mean, but on the other hand, there's no denying being able to bring assault level builds on a 65-ton mech with jump jets and mobility is something pretty special.
Yeah, it's far from meta. I mean, I quite like the Ricefield hat. I think it gives it something unusual. But I think it's not quite a classic clan mech. in being a glass cannon. But yeah, being a glass cannon, it's not the kind of thing that you can steer down the pipe and take shots to the CT. So, and then that can, I guess, be hard to avoid when you've got a big hat like that. But I don't think it's too bad. I think because it has those good things going for it, some jump jets and some good loadouts, you couldn't have it being able to be too sturdy. It does have to be a glass cannon.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I quite like it.
Yeah, that's how I put it to some other people, that it really needs something holding it back, that thing, because, you know, being able to bring 6 Ultra 2s or a bunch of ATMs, the kind of builds you can put on that thing are just nuts. So it really needed something to draw it back in, and I think that they've kind of hit the nail on the head really with the balance. It's not going to immediately paint a crosshair on its back for nerfs, but it is fun to get out there and wail on people.
And the Dervish comes out tomorrow. Nick, is this one that you had picked up?
I have picked it up. It actually wasn't a pre-order. I really did just sit on the fence for quite some time with that. But yeah, I will be one of the many, I hope it's many, that have pre-ordered this and play it when it's released.
Have you had a look through the quirks there?
Yeah, I had a little bit of a look on the quirks.
How do you feel like it's shaping up?
They look pretty much like the standard kind of quirks that you see on your average mechs. It'll just be interesting to see what we can do with, say, like the hero with the 8 missile hardpoints. No quirks there. Just I looked at that build and thought, yeah, well, 8 missile hardpoints on an Innisphere mech. I don't have that many Innisphere mechs, and it'd be nice to have a nice brawler.
It was a shame that they didn't just quirk one up to be, you know, like a mini IV4. You know, those missile hardpoints are pretty tempting, but when it doesn't brawl very well, and when it maybe lacks the speed or clan tech that an Arctic Wolf has, I think it's going to be stuck a little bit in between. It's not going to be tanky enough to brawl, and it's not going to be quick enough to get in there and backstab and mimic what the Arctic Wolf does. I know you're pretty keen on chucking a Learn build on that, Cat, so that might suit you.
I think there's a couple of little things that some people might not have thought about, and one of those is that it does have the missile bay doors, and that immediately, you know, if you're walking around with those closed, you can knock off all the. You get a 20% damage reduction to your armor and structure. So at least while you're positioning around the battlefield, it can be quite tanky, and that is going to help it out a lot. And that should be taken in light with when you're looking at the quirks. It's going to be one of those. Here's my prediction. It's going to be one of those mechs where there's a couple of real standouts, and it does do some stuff that you really can't do with Innisphere mechs. I mean, we've just had ISC, and there was a couple of gaps, and one of those was a 55-tonner with jump jets and 6 energy hardpoints for doing that meta medium pulse build. Well, the Dervish can do it, and the other one is obviously the hero being able to do the 8 missile hardpoints that nothing else can do anywhere around it. So that's going to be a real standout. But then, like I say, I think it's really going to be one of those mechs where it feels really samey. It's got a lot of the same hard points just shuffled around. It's got Incubus Syndrome and, you know, 4 missile, 4 energy, and they're just shuffled around. The quirks don't differentiate it. Like you say, it should have something with like a 15% missile cooldown, so you can do some MRMs or something like that. As it stands, there's going to be some that I'm just not really keen on playing at all.
Yeah, I agree. And it probably demonstrates maybe one of the issues with releasing mech packs on this monthly cycle, that there's not been enough time to build up the hype for it. And it definitely needs at least one mech that stands out and it makes you want to get it. So yeah, it will be interesting. As I said, once we get to have a play with it, we might find something that that makes it redeeming. But we'll have to wait and see. He did mention, Captain Cat, about the Innisphere Coalition. For those of you who don't know, that is the 6v6 Innisphere only tournament that has just wrapped up. As I understand, there's actually just one more game to go to separate out second and third. But by and large, the tournament has wrapped up. We will be doing 1 or 2 episodes to wrap up the tournament and how it's gone, and to look at some of the patterns and trends in that comp, but we did just want to take the opportunity to thank all of the teams, all of the players who participated, and give a special thanks and shout out to Aces Wild, Not Bob and Callan, who organised the tournament. It was, really, really good to watch. I didn't get to participate, but yeah, I certainly supported Captain Cat and Nick, who both played in it. Just very quickly, guys, how did you find it? An enjoyable experience?
Yes, I actually really enjoyed the IC. Having that Swiss system was really nice. Being able to have so many teams enter and really sort of seed out as the matches went on. And it's one of those things like, you've played a couple of comps. Like, I haven't played that many, but it's enough to know that comp's a comp, and it just had like slightly different tonnage bracket and the ranking system, how it all sort of like fed up through that Swiss system was different and nice.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the differences in the ISC compared to previous tournaments. So it's always nice to look at things through a different lens. And yeah, good on those guys for putting it all together. And look forward to having a little convo with them sometime in the near future.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's certainly been a good comp scene as of late. There's been some excellent work by MWO Comp, and MOR was great, ISC is great, and looking forward to the next one just on the horizon. Right, so before we did get into our bitch session about the things that we consider dick moves, as always, a big thank you to our patrons, Dan N, Ryan Craig, Jondoeiowa, MWO Comp, Jacob Sawyer, Shaky Snake, BrioS, Chilgapsan, Knight of the Day, and of course, our gracious co-host, Nikoro Doomguard. Your support is fantastic. If you do see these guys in-game, then please give them a GG from us. And if you did want to support the podcast in more tangible ways, like these amazing guys, you can become a patron for as little as $2 per month. So look for us on Patreon. Right, let's get into it.
Shutdown sequence overridden.
Right, so MWO is a game that is all about teamwork, and whilst we'd love every game, I guess, to be seamless and coordinated and everyone to get on with the mech action, the reality is, especially in solo queue, sometimes you've got 12 different pilots doing 12 different things, and inevitably it means sometimes what you do won't be things that other people want you to do. But hey, it's all good. People play the game in different ways, and variation, I guess, is one of the awesome parts of the game and of the community. However, there are some things that you just shouldn't do. There is a line that you should not cross. Some moves are straight up dick moves. We are talking penis. Dick moves, don't do them. MWO has been a little serious lately, as we talked about in the intro, so we thought that we would have a little bit of fun, bring you some chuckles, and talk about those dick moves that piss us off and rack us up a little bit. Right, so we love lists here at Incoming Missile Podcast, so we have got 5 dick moves each, and we have ranked them from 5th down to 1st, and we'll just take turns and say one and then go to the next person. Now, no one gets racked up like an Australian, so let's start with you, Nick. And look, as I understand, you are a bit of an expert when it comes to dick moves. So what is a dick what is a dick move that gets you going?
All right, so number 5 for me starts off with friendly fire. That's right, shooting teammates. And it's not just the accidental shooting. You sort of like clip someone on the way through hitting an enemy mech. It's the deliberate shit.
All right, and Nick, we're talking about, say, if you're behind someone and you're shooting at someone and they just happen to move in front of you, or when you decide to just light someone's back up because you're pissed off at them?
It would be with the latter. So it'd be, let's say someone like myself is rolling around in a 100-tonner. I'm moving slow as shit, and we've got a pinch point, and someone is sort of like jumping in and out of cover in front of that pinch point, and you want to go through, and you're just trying to be really nice about it, like, let me get through, mate, let me get through. And eventually they realize that I'm sort of subsequently blocking them, so they turn around, look at me, and go back, on with the game, and I'm trying to get past them, and then they're turning around and realizing that I'm still blocking them, and then they start shooting me in the face, and it's like, what the fuck, Cam? Like,
Excuse me here. This is starting to sound less and less like a hypothetical scenario and more like something that's from memory here.
Well, I'm sort of using a little bit of memory because it was recent, but that kind of play does seem to happen. It might be something in particular where you've got, a teammate of your own that is blocking you, and
the one I hate is when people are like, yeah, they shoot you in the back, but then instead of saying sorry, they just try to be like, oh well, you were blocking me, or you were face hugging the target, or whatever.
Yeah, I hate when they take the time to type it in chat. They don't even say it over VoIP. They type in chat, stop blocking, and they've just alphaed you in the back.
Yeah, or killed you. How about you, Nick? That's something you've experienced?
Being shot in the back by teammates?
And then told that it was your fault?
Oh, sure. And I'm sure everyone else has experienced it at one point.
Yeah, that's got to be a dick move.
Angry little kids out there, or
Yep.
man children.
Definite dick move. All right, Captain Cat.
All right. So Captain Cat, number 5. These guys that drop strikes in the brawl, Nick, eh? Oh.
Dick move.
Now, I'm saying this, guys. I mean, it's definitely a dick move. There's a brawl going on. You drop a strike. We think the enemy are all going to be bunched up, and immediately your team just charges that red smoke. It does happen, and it's not always your fault. But in our competitive team, we do have an ongoing rule, which is don't drop strikes in the brawl, because again and again we see Captain Cat and others dropping a strike into the brawl and getting a bunch of team damage. I think I ended up with the top cumulative team damage amongst our team. Sorry, guys. So I'm very much guilty of that, but that is a dick move. Nevertheless, sometimes I do dick moves too. Don't do that.
Yeah, that's a comp dick move, hard. But obviously, as you guys know, I've been monitoring the stats, and man, there will be 200 and 300 team damage games from people in a comp match with 6 mechs. So yeah, that's definitely a dick move. I mean, just making it that much harder to win. Truth be told, though, I hate it in quick play when you'll have like a fast mover that'll drop it in the strike and then run off. They don't even hit themselves.
You got to look at the end of the game for those 0 match score guys. They've done like 500 damage, but they've got 0 match score. Something is a little suspicious about this. I did have one last week where I was on Canyon Network, and we're doing the Theatre NASCAR. The classic Theatre NASCAR, but it was more wild and hectic than I've ever seen it before. And I dropped a strike behind me, and in the time that it took, the 7 seconds for the aircraft to come in and drop those bombs, our team had NASCAR'd around the top, through the center, straight over the middle, and around back behind the rock, and straight into it. And I did, like 400 team damage or something.
So you dicked yourself.
I remember that. I was in that game just on the opposing team. Hearing you talking about it, it was hilarious.
Strikes in the brawl, dick move. Right, my number 5 is something that I've called catastrophizing. So I hate it. It's such a dick move when someone, like one mech will die, a light will run off and get killed, like on Frozen, they'll run across the gap. And then there's those people on VoIP in chat that are like, oh, the game's over. Oh, that's it. We're 1 mech down, it's done. And then they'll just run over and die. It's just, don't be a dick. It's how often can you come back? But all it takes, some people just, the balance of how a game is going to go is so fragile that it just takes one thing, one mech to die, or one person to look like they're going out of position, or an assault goes off to cap or something like that, and oh yep, that's it, they're done.
Yeah.
It's catastrophizing. Just don't be a dick. Just keep playing. Games. I would say more often than not, games come back from that position rather than that team just getting run over.
I mean, I've seen it even like in the first 30 seconds of the game because of how the team moved out of the spawn, and people are like, oh, game's lost. And the worst version of this is when they disconnect or suicide or whatever afterwards. But I saw it this week when the game was 10-10, tight as, and this guy was like so salty at his own team because of the position they'd taken up that he decided to just stop playing. And was sitting in an annihilator. He had the match clutch well within his hands, but he just decided, no, this game is lost and it's not even worth playing anymore. You don't win, I lose.
All right, that guy's a dick.
He is a dick.
Move. All right, back around the horn. Nick?
Oh, I guess the off-game random talk. You drop into a game and straight off onto the VoIP, there's some guy that's going, I've been drinking for 5 days straight, and starts, telling the pilots of his, problems in the real world. and saying stuff like "I hate Trump," and it can go on really with the kind of topics. But the fact that these things have no correlation with the game whatsoever, you drop in and you want to have some level of focus, and you just got this guy sort of like beating in your ear, and you're like, just shut up, no one cares. There could very well be someone out there that's trying to like pour their heart out, and they're sad, they're pressed, and they just want to maybe put lean their head on someone's shoulder in game. Someone will lend an ear and go, "That's all right, mate. You'll be okay." But nah, just sort of like leave that shit to yourself. It's very off-putting and can sometimes really put people off their game.
Yeah, go play Sims or something. We don't need to hear your life story. I mean, even people will start talking about builds, and the fight will have started, the brawl will have started, and you hear some guys talking about whether they like 2 MRM20s on it or 1 MRM40.
Yeah.
Like, dude, we're playing the game, man. Just don't be a dick.
Yeah, even better when nobody's responding and they're just talking. Nobody's said anything. And they're just like, yeah, I just bought this mech. I'm going to put some MRMs and LRMs on it. It's like, it just goes on for a while. It's like, nobody's really biting on this conversation. Maybe, yeah.
That does remind me, to all of our listeners, if you do this, we really appreciate your listenership, and we're not judging you. But I think, would you guys agree that there's a brief window of maybe 5 seconds once the game starts? Maybe it's when you're still in the drop screen where you can talk about that. But then once the legs hit the battlefield, battle comms.
Once you're talking over the people who are trying to spot targets and call enemy movements, then that's gone on way too long. And there's the perfect solution to this. Join a Discord. If you want someone to talk to, then just drop into, there's plenty of Discords out there. There's plenty of teams out there who take drop-ins. There's plenty of units you can join if you want to talk to people. And you'll have all the conversation you could ever want. But, yeah.
It annoys me even in Discord, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's a dick move even in Discord. I'm trying to play the game and someone's talking about something else.
True. Yeah, you got to be respectful of that as well. But at least, then people can opt out. I mean, it's, trying to take the time out of shooting people to go and bring the tab menu up and mute someone is, very frustrating sometimes.
Keep your off-game talk off-game, eh, Nick?
That's it, mate. Short and sweet.
All right, should we go to you now, cousin? Let's mix this up. Let's go crazy here.
Yeah, my one is related, to be honest, because the off-game talk annoys me. But what annoys me even more is that guy or girl that gets on and types in more often, but will sometimes talk about just how drunk they are or about how high they are. Oh, dude, I'm so drunk.
The
I'm not
bogan
even
mating
going to play
call.
the game. Yeah, just, and again, a lot of Australians out there are probably, they do answer to that call and start talking about it. But, look, I understand that you're old enough to drink, maybe, but look, I don't need to know about it, right? I am just trying to get a decent match score. Yeah, I don't need to know that you're old enough to drink now, and I don't need to know how drunk you are, because that doesn't make me think that you are cool, okay? Just don't be a dick. Say something funny for sure, but, I don't need to know, that you've had 1.5 shots. Who cares?
If you want to be cool, you just drink and you just do it, and you don't have to tell people that you're doing it to be cool. As soon as you have to tell someone, you're not cool anymore.
Absolutely not cool. If you have to tell them that you're cool, it's not cool. Dick move.
Yeah, actually, it is cold and flu season here, so that is why cousin sounds like that, guys. It's not fucking whiskey.
It's not because
maybe whiskey would help, dude.
Yeah, might clear the sinuses a little bit. So yeah, that's my number 4, the dude I'm so drunk guy. Dick move. Keep it to yourself.
All right, number 4 for me, drop calling in your favor. Now, the reason why this triggers me so much is because drop calling in a game, I mean, most of us have played way too much of this game and way too jaded and salty to even bother drop calling in quick play anymore. But for those of you out there that can still be bothered, more power to you. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for trying to get some coordination amongst those people who really don't want to listen to what it is you have to say. But if you are only drop calling so that you can pug shield, so that you can put people in front of you, between you and the enemy, or if you're a lone boat and you see an AMS mech and you want your team to destroy that AMS mech at all costs, even if it's a really big tactical blunder, well, then that stops being a cool guy move and it becomes a dick move. We need the opposite of a dick move. What would the opposite of a dick move be?
Well, I could say
Bro
something
move?
inappropriate here, but yeah, bro move. Yep, well, let's go with bro move.
And then that's no longer a bro move, and that is a dick move. Come on, guys, push. Wait, this guy's behind me. And I did have a streamer in one of my games just recently who called focus on AMS Nova when we were beleaguered by assault mechs because he was in an ATM build. So,
yes, there is a particular streamer that does tend to call these pushes, and then just to maybe help him out a little bit into the way that he's going to perform. So yeah, I'm with you with that. Do drop call, but don't just drop call to make your own match score higher.
All right, let's move on. Number 3.
Round the horn, Nick.
Round the horn. Event aggro. So you get an event on, and there's various weapons that may come into play to rack up some damage, get some precious sea bills, maybe a Triskelion Warhorn or something like that. And you don't even give a fuck about the game in the end. You just want to get through all that. So you might do something like, I'm just going to run out in the middle of the field, drop a UAV so I can get my 10 spots, and I don't care if I die after that. You sort of jeopardize the game because your input was just wasted. Or you might bring out a mech that goes, I want to be a jack of all trades, and I'll bring one of every weapon.
Oh, no.
You know? And you've literally just handicapped yourself, and that vital one of the 12 mechs that make up the team is just absolute cactus.
Yeah,
well done.
And that's why it's a dick move, is because you haven't just handicapped yourself, you've handicapped the team. That light that just runs right into the backfield and puts up a UAV and then gets smoked, and that person disconnects to go and do the next event thing. It just makes it so hard to play. And I love the events that PGI put on, but this recent event was an example of those bracket builds that you were saying, Nick, where someone's got an LRM 15 and an Ultra 10 and an ERPPC and a Streak 2, just putting these bracket builds on with no desire to actually win the game. They're just purely paying for events, and it's just such a dick move to just sacrifice your mech, basically.
Direwolf with 8 heavy machine guns. That was a good one.
I honestly haven't seen that. Have you seen that, mate?
Yeah. There's a screenshot of that. It's special. I don't know what. Is it just full of ammo? I don't know.
Yeah, but it makes it hard to design the events, and we know what Matt's trying to do, and the events by and large are pretty good, but just that event aggro, Matt probably needs to understand that there's going to be that event aggro that people are just going to want to get it knocked out. They're not going to care how the game goes, as long as they achieve the the UAV detections or whatever it is. So yeah, but look, listeners, don't be a dick, be a bro. If the events are on, just play how you would normally play, and you will achieve them.
Yeah. I mean, there's always going to be the human element in these events, and no matter what event, it seems like anyway, no matter what criteria you put on, it's gonna destabilize the game during that time. I mean, if it's just match score, for example, there's going to be a bunch of looms. We've talked about that before because it's an easy way to farm match score. But yeah, I think if you're actually just going out there and intending to win, then it's not a dick move. Yeah, and vice versa.
All right, Captain Cat, your number 3 dick move?
My number 3 dick move is hunting DCs. So hunting DCs. Now, I know from time to time you'll stumble across a disconnected mech and think, yay, free kill, and more power to you, take it. But I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the guys who see that XYZ pilot has disconnected and then just beeline straight for their spawn point to go and farm that disconnected guy before he can get back into the game. And I think we all give a golf clap when that person reconnects and immediately kills that person who's trying to farm them. So that's a dick move. You guys seen this one?
I've been on the receiving end of that, and as you actually say, you get that odd chance, you reconnect, and you actually kill that one mech that was trying to farm you.
Yeah. And we all cheer Yay!
It's even worse when 3 or 4, or 3 lights will race off, and they'll have a race to see who can get there first. And it's just one of these examples where any time you're just chasing that kind of selfish objective, you're just screwing over your team. If you're a light, you probably needed to scout or contribute or distract or harass. But when you're just chasing the DCs, particularly in the spawn, like if someone DCs in the middle of battle, bad luck, they're fair game. If they're right there in front of you whilst you're going somewhere, absolutely smoke them up. But to chase, to run across, on Tourmaline and do a big, massive loop around to try and get some DC that is in spawn, dick move, man, dick move.
Yeah, it's a bit of a common thread, isn't it? It becomes a dick move when it destabilizes the rest of the game. There's 23 other people in here trying to have a good time, and you're, jeopardizing that by being a dick. Don't be a dick. Jeez, yeah. It's so hard.
Kicking a cat when it's down.
Hey.
Right, number 3 from me. Now, this is going to be controversial because I know it's not. Everyone's going to agree with me that this is a dick move, but I hate potato hate. NASCAR happens, everyone's a potato. You do less than 1,500 damage in your mech, it's the potato's fault. Got hit by LRMs, must have been potatoes that did it. Must have missed all of those drop calls that you made during the match to help out those other pilots that aren't Div A pilots like you. Don't be a dick. Not everyone is as good at the game as you are. Don't just lash out in chat that X, Y, and Z is a potato. Oh, Kozen Indigo, you missed that shot, you're a potato. I mean, I'm not super good at the game, but the amount of times that I've copped some grief for being a potato because I haven't gone somewhere, made some kind of shot, or done something that some other amazing pilot that's 25% on Yao's list tells me to do. Just it's all good. There's different levels of skill at the game, so just don't hate on people during the game and call them potatoes, man. The potato hate thing just it bugs me a little bit. As a potato, I get a little bit offended.
It bothers me too, man. I get there's the rhetoric of these. I understand the frustration that people have when they look around their teammates and they're doing random retarded stuff, and that is frustrating. The part for me where it becomes a dick move is when you have to the player feels the need to dissociate themselves from their team and to get on all chat and look and go, oh, this team is such an awful team. Luckily I'm not part of their stupid failure. It's just these guys, and that's really where it becomes a dick move. And even if it's true, even if the team was stupid and did dumb stuff, you could have done better. And you could reflect on your own performance and work out what you could have done differently to maybe reverse the whole problem. Like maybe you could have got on the voice comms and, guided them from the start and told them what to do. If you thought what they were doing was silly, then I hope you let them know long before it became a massive problem, because otherwise I'm not going to have much sympathy for you. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Very well said. Because the guy that's abusing you for being a potato, he made no calls during the game. He didn't drop call. He didn't try and help anyone out. He's just trying to dissociate himself and say, it's not my fault. It's your fault because you're a potato. And as you say, people are potatoes. I'm a potato. I do things wrong. I don't make every shot, but I'm playing because I want to have fun. And I do try, I don't head off and do random stuff most of the time. But, again, it's helping no one by trying to abuse someone else and call them a potato when you haven't done your best to try and help them out.
Self-reflection. It's what I usually advise people when they're doing that. It's like, maybe you could have done something better. You'll do better next time.
So don't be a dick. Don't hate on potatoes.
And definitely, you better check yourself before you wreck yourself, because if your damage is 82 at the end of this game, I'm going to let you know.
Now, for all the listeners, that is a Captain Cat move. He will let you know. You potato hate him, then he will be telling you and comparing his performance to your own. And having played with Captain Cat, most of the people that are abusing him, not as good at him and good at the game as he is. So, yeah, just calm the farm for those haters out there. Be a bro.
And maybe just to add my 2 cents to the potato hate, with the game, the current state of the game, having a diminished populace does mean that we are getting these mixed drops, these mixed skill levels. So you do have tier 4s dropping in with tier 1s. There's a massive variable between skills. And to put that kind of hate on people that are probably just starting out is a major deterrent, and might even cause a little bit of psychological trauma, if you want to put it that way, to some people. They're like, oh man, this place is horrible. I'm out of here. I'm not playing this game. Uninstall. And yeah, we just lost another potential player that could have helped sustain the game.
Yeah. It's a big problem in other games, the toxicity when you get in game and people having a go at you because you're not as good. But it's a really good point, Nick. The sparser the population is, the more likely you'll get matched with people in lower tiers. And that may mean that they're not at the same skill level. And those people are going to benefit with you helping, drop calling, and being constructive rather than hating. As I said, it doesn't happen heaps. It's a definite dick move, but yeah, there's a good point to say, people, you will get matched up with people that aren't the same skill level as you. So, show them, be a bro, show them some love.
Oh, yeah. And maybe give them a little bit of constructive criticism rather than trying to destroy them with the destructive criticism.
We are back around the horn to our number 2s, Nick. So, number 2 dick move for you?
Number 2 dick move for me. It would have to be. This is a bit of a weird one because we can't really prove whether it exists or not, but I'm sure it does. I'm definitely sure it does. And that is the players that have decided to disable in-game VoIP. So they're not hearing anything and they can't say anything. And to me, that's that's valuable information, battlefield intel that they're not receiving. They're not knowing what's going on. And and the same again, they can't tell their teammates if anything is happening, that could change the the outcome of the match.
And this one's kind of a semi-dick move because you're almost setting yourself up to be a lone wolf in a game that's based on teamwork. You're automatically setting yourself up to be a bit of a lone wolf because you can't, communicate to your teammates and say, give scouting information or focus fire or those kind of things.
Yeah, I've often wondered how many people are actually hearing me at times when I'm giving clear information about where the enemy team can be found and what we should do about it, and people run in the opposite direction or do exactly what I said we should definitely not do. And you never know whether it's people just wanting to, bloody-mindedly do with their own thing, or whether it's people that just literally can't even hear you. So
I will say that I do mute people sometimes. If someone's, like some of the other dick moves that we talked about, they're telling me how drunk they are, or, they're talking off game, then I'll just hit tab and mute them as the easiest way. But the in-game VoIP, it's critical. It's a team game, so you want to be able to at least hear, what people are telling you so you can follow instructions.
The best one of these is where people are, they've got their VoIP to say, I have come across this, they've got their VoIP disabled, but then they're typing in chat and then they're missing all the stuff and they're super confused about what's going on. It happens in faction play, and especially I've noticed it. And then it's like maybe if they're getting frustrated or whatever because they can't hear what people are saying, and maybe if you just turned your VoIP on, you'd be able to receive all this information, not expect people to type back to you.
Use your ears and your fingers.
One thing I wanted to point out, though, is in regards to that, you may get the odd player that actually does not have a mic. For example, there might be a few that don't have one. And we're not talking about you guys at all. That's a different circumstance. We're talking about the ones that are completely capable of participating in the communication, the feedback during the match, and choosing to just flick a switch and just tune out.
Yeah, just default off. You can turn it off on the front end, so you just never ever hear it by default. Yeah, that's going a bit too far, I think. I mean, there may be some good reasons why people make that choice, but generally speaking, I think you're setting yourself up to lose there.
Yeah, just use mute. The mute, that's a great function to just hit the little microphone symbol. Yeah. All right, we're getting juicy now, Captain Cat. What was your number 2 dick move?
All right, number 2, second worst dick move in the game for me is griefing the last teammates alive. And I know we've talked about it already on this episode that this game can be frustrating. People do stupid things. You do stupid things, and you get annoyed at yourself for doing stupid things. But the people that lash out on whoever they come across first in the spectator view. And they're like, oh, look at this guy. This is why we lost. You were in the back sniping with your Gauss rifles and not sharing armor. It's like, yeah, dude, I've got AC2s. That's why I'm sniping. You know, like, I'm a sniper. I'm doing my role and I'm doing my best to actually keep all you guys alive, but you did dumb things and you died. It's not all my fault. It's if it's like a Lerm boat, they're one of the worst targets for this. Where, you know, if they're at the end of the game, they're so helpless, they've got nothing between them and the enemy, they're going to go down. They're going to, they're not going to be able to play their Lerm role effectively. And to make matters worse, they've got people calling them cancer or whatever horrible thing just because they're the last people there and they're the first person to lash out at that this person has come across. That's a dick move. I mean, there's ways and ways. You can tell people gently that what they were doing could have been better, or they shouldn't be chain firing their medium lasers. You know, they should be doing this and that. You bear in mind that they're still trying to play the game, man. They're still trying to win it. We might still have a chance. You don't need to fill the airwaves with salt just to guarantee the game's a complete loss.
Yeah, I agree completely. You know, this ghost pilot mentality, you know, that you're dead, but you're going to tell this other person what to do when they're still trying to play the game, whether you're giving them grief or telling them how they're going to win it, all of that kind of stuff, you know, just, yeah, advice is all right, but you got to keep it constructive when you're having a go at someone. Yeah, and look, I mean, you are defending Lerm boats a little bit there, Captain Cat, so we'll forgive you for that, but, you know, if they're playing their mech the way that it's supposed to be played, even if you don't like Lerms, you can't really give them grief if they're playing a support role in a support mech, if you know what I mean. So you may not like it, but to give them grief because they've made that choice, yeah, just calm down. Don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Is that too much to ask? What have you got, Kuz?
Right, so number 2, I did have something similar, but I'm just going to call an audible here. And my number 2 is going to be those people that brag in chat. Now, we've talked in a previous podcast that MechWarrior Online does tend to have a little bit of an older community, and there's a bit of an honour system, I think. You know, GG obviously is just kind of standard vernacular, well played. But man, you get those people that are bad losers. What is even worse is the bad winners. And I've had a few people that will be mid-game and they'll kill me, and then they'll type in chat and brag about, oh, you know, you've got nothing or something like that. I mean, that is, yeah, oh, the get wrecked. Dude, you know, it's a computer game. You know, you just need to calm down because, you know, good on you, you know, for killing me. That's, you know, but that doesn't make you a better person. So, you know, don't bragging in chat. It's, you know, let's be respectful, and, you know, it's all right to have a bit of bravado is all good. But I mean, I'm sure you guys have run across, yeah, a bit of banter is good, but I'm sure you guys have run across it where someone will just be a dick. They'll whether they're trying to troll you or whatever it is, they're just straight up being a dick, and you know that is just super, super annoying for me.
Yeah, I mean, it's for some people it's not enough just to beat someone; they have to then demoralize them as well. Actually, try to hurt their feelings. I mean, there's no denying that is a dick move. That is the definition of a dick move. Surely that you're being a dick. You're not just beating them; you're trying to actually hurt them, and yeah, that can go away.
Yeah, and what makes it worse is where it's not necessarily a fair fight. You know, you might come in and just get the last shot, or, you know, there might be a mismatch in the mechs or the damage. You know, if I've got red CT and you come in and get the last shot, you know, calm down, bro. That doesn't make you the best. That doesn't make you Lizzie or Bowser. You know, just, yeah, if you need to feel good about yourself, you know, go to the gym or you know, go do something else. But, you know, trying to live vicariously through the game is like, calm down, dude.
All right. Which brings us to number 1. Number 1.
Number 1s. All right. Nick, what is the biggest dick move in the game for you?
Okay, going on with my list. At number 1.
Number 1.
NASCAR. Fucking NASCAR.
Oh, no.
The destroyer
I think
of
a lot of
worlds.
people are agreeing with you right now.
Oh, it's one of those things, guys. Like the way this NASCAR has sort of really, sunk its claws in or entrenched itself into this game. You can even see it happening as the game starts, and so many people are jaded by it. They don't want to get caught out by it, so they just intensify the motive and how it works. You get assaults that drop, and they're already starting to rotate from the beginning because it's like, no, not me, not today. I'm not getting caught out. And so many people are so jaded by it, but in order to stop it, everyone just has to fucking just drop their shit and go, you know what, we're done with this. Let's just not do it. But no one's willing to sort of like actively take that risk and say, you know what, I'm standing against it. Do it as one. No, everyone's just going to NASCAR because, like, you know what, I don't want to die.
It's a little bit of the tragedy of commons, really. Everyone, they don't want it to be them, so everyone starts moving and migrating in that same direction. And we're all dicks to a degree with NASCAR. Sometimes, you feel sucked into it sometimes, so you're kind of involuntarily a dick. But I mean, it's just such a hard thing to not be a dick about.
We're one man in 12, and I mean, we've all been caught out so many times by trying to stand against the NASCAR, trying to hold the left side on HPG or or anything like that. It doesn't take too many times of being burned before you try to go with the flow in some form. There's ways around it, but generally speaking, you've got to just be aware of it. You've got to be, if not keeping up with it, you need to be taking steps to mitigate the problem for yourself, like, dropping into the basement and ducking through the other side for better or worse, or whatever it is. It's a tough one. It's a really tough one.
Sorry to interrupt there, but I have actually started to resort when I drop in assaults and get HPG. I'll just go straight to basement. I won't even try and start this whirlpool, this absolute mess. I'll just go down there and either wait it out or sort of like try and poke out the other side and hope to sort of like shortcut the race.
Yeah. Take your chances with the basement. I mean, it used to be considered a dick move, but I can kind of see your reasoning there now. Like going in the basement in HPG as an assault. Well, it can be your only way out. It can be your only escape from that rotation. And it's a real roll of the dice going in the basement or going in the tunnel in Crimson Strait or those kind of situations, because you don't know what you're going to find down there. You might find 4 assaults coming the other way, and it's just you. You might be fine. It's really hard to scout out, and so it is a coin toss. But you know that if you stay on the left side of HPG, you're just going to get run over.
Yeah, it's a major part of the game, and as I said, we all share culpability in being dicks in NASCAR. And sometimes, even in an assault, even on HPG, you might not even get to the tunnel before you get caught up in the NASCAR and that twisting. So it's a hard thing to solve. I really think that just comms is probably, whether that be verbal or whether PGI adds some non-verbal cues. I've been advocating for something in the command wheel that, is you can more easily say hold ground or stop NASCARing or something like that, that you don't have to have one person, taking the company command and having that extended range. But yeah, it's a big one, Nick. I agree with you completely that it's a dick move, and it's just so pervasive that we all share the responsibility.
And it's definitely something that's not going to end anytime soon. It's going to take every player in this game to finally just say, all right, let's just not do it anymore, and let's go back to strategy. Let's go back to tactical positions where you're actually holding points, so on and so forth. The kind of thing you'd actually expect in warfare, not just... I mean, imagine it in real life. It's like you drop in some sort of deployment and you just got like soldiers running around one building in circles chasing like the enemy. It's crazy. Like, let's use some real strategy with this game, guys.
In the Oceanic time zone, there's not really any group queue to be had. I mean, we could play faction play now and then, but so generally speaking, we're quick play and play a lot of quick play, and then we try to go comp, and then I've got to fight as the drop commander to stop people from NASCARing, because it's been, it's muscle memory. People start rotating to the right. We got to play this game tactically. We don't just mindlessly do the pug strats, And I think that the solution has got to be a multi-pronged attack. There's definitely communication would be a major one. The map design people have spoken about would be a huge thing. I mean, someone pointed out to me that Rubellite Oasis is a circular map, has a circular center, and yet, for whatever reason, the way it's designed, you'd want to go in and analyze that because it doesn't tend to go to a big rotation. I mean, of course, you can NASCAR on any map, and it can. I've seen, NASCAR Polar Highlands is a big one for it, and it's flat. So we're just going around the radio tower. Like, it can happen on any map for sure, but for whatever reason, Rubellite seems relatively immune to it. So, and want to be looking at the design of that map and trying to reverse engineer that. Maybe there's some terrain adjustments that you can make to maps like Canyon and put a little bit of a stumbling block somewhere, put a little bit of a barrier to or a little bit of cover. I mean, that's something that Hibernal potentially offers beyond what Canyon has, and it just sets up those extra little bits of cover that give you just a few more spots where you can set up, and it maybe just slows that NASCAR down because there is a little bit of a stumbling block, a little bit of something for somewhere to set up and reverse that terrain. Because it doesn't take much. It doesn't take much disincentive to stop people from going around that corner. When you've got a decent firing line set up at it and people start coming around the corner, they can get pushed back.
Look, it's probably something that we could commit an entire episode to, I think, and we might in future actually is try and solve that puzzle. But yeah, definitely a dick move and well worth its position at number 1. So, Captain Cat, let's go to you. Your number 1 dick move in the game.
My number 1 dick move is the NSR, the Gen Rush, the Assassin Rush. I've just been speaking about how hard it can be to get games in Oceanic time zone. And so it can take 20 minutes to get a game of faction play going easily. And then it's incursion, so the enemy team just rush straight past you. You go in your first wave, you're bringing assaults and things like that, because that's a good first wave mech, generally speaking. And they just zoom straight past you, no attempt to engage with you. You go straight into your base, destroy all the buildings, game over. I don't like incursion. Well, or
I was about to say that.
So we just wanted to push on and get another game. Well, I got some bad news for you because we ain't going to queue up again for that. And the same with the Gen Rush. I get it that if you don't defend your gens, then, or you don't play the objective hard enough, then someone can punish you by zooming straight past you and bringing something unexpected and just playing the objective really, really hard and beating you. But that's not why I play this game. I play competitive to win. I play quick play and faction play and all those things to shoot people in the face. It's really as simple as that. And the objective is the icing on the cake. It's it's a fun little, if it's conquest, it's a fun little aspect to the game to play it a little bit differently. I'm not going to completely ignore shooting people in the face so I can play the objective and win. And a real world example, I mean, I had a Canyon game just last week where it was a NASCAR. The teams rotated around each other in a counterclockwise direction, and our team rotated in behind their team, and their team rotated up, and so it was assault. And both teams were adjacent to the base, and for whatever reason, their team decided that they were just going to send 5 people to our base and sit on it and win, and within seconds, because and someone jumped on the text chat and said, well, you should have defended your base then. They didn't defend their base. Their base was completely open. It's that honor system that you're talking about, cousin. We had a gentleman's agreement that we weren't going to play the objective, and you ruined it.
And it sucks when it is more that NSR. So it's avoiding that conflict. You know what I mean? If they're just trying to get through the game, or they're losing, or they don't want to engage in frankly the fun part, which is shooting other mechs in the face. That's where it's a dick move. Like we know why we're here. We're here for fun. We're not here to see who can hit W and steer to a point on the map. We're here to shoot and have that fun. So NSR is just let's shoot some mechs. That's what we're here for.
And actually, you've just reminded me that one of the justifications that we see as a unit for the NSR or for the Gen Rush is that we're a unit. We're a big scary unit on the end of the team. There's 6 of us or 8 of us or 12 of us or whatever. And, we can't hope to beat you except with this. So that's what we've done. We've brought assassins and zoomed past you and gone straight into the incursion base and destroyed it.
It ties into that one that I was saying about catastrophizing. You see a unit on the other side, so you suddenly, roll over and expose your belly. Just give it a go. And it's not like we're Eon, so don't have to worry too much. Might as well give it a go.
Hey, Clan Crossfire can beat anyone, and we can lose to anyone. So
particularly that
just
second
have a
one.
go, you might. Have a go. You never know your luck.
Nice.
Yeah, you don't win, I lose. I hate that attitude.
Right, now I'm going to bring us home with our number one, and I think this is something that everyone will be familiar with, and maybe it is a little surprising, certainly not as controversial as NASCAR, but my number one dick move is blocking or tailgating. So, you're marching up Rubelite and someone decides, hey, here's a good place that I'm going to fire from, and it's that place that no other mechs can get past. Or you go to push around a corner and they just stay on the corner and you're trying to get past them, or you're trying to get through those narrow by the ramps on Solaris City and people just stand there. I hate it. Hit W or get the fuck out of the way so that I can play the game. Do not block. And even those people that will just like hang on your ass a little bit, so that you can't maneuver, just get some space. Let's have some space. Let's spread out a little bit, guys. And just don't block. Please do not be a dick, be a bro, and don't hang on my ass.
The version of this that I particularly hate is the tailgating side of it, and that is where you're in a light mech and you position yourself on the corner of a building, you nip out, come back. Why can't I go backwards? Because some assault mech has pushed in right behind me and is just holding me exposed to the whole enemy team. That's tailgating. Don't do that, guys. Give people some space. And you got to just have a little bit of awareness of what people are likely to do. If a light goes out in front of the enemy team, they're probably going to want to back up again real quick. So that's. How about you, Nick? How are you feeling about tailgating?
It is very much the same way you sort of perceived it yourself. You find that nice little slice of cover that you want to call your own for the match, and it's like, I'm just going to poke and peek from here. And it's only enough to fit one mech, and you poke out, and you're zoned in, you're focused. You can see this enemy, and you're like, yes, line up, shoot. And then all of a sudden everything goes south, and everything's looking in your direction, and you're like, oh shit, back up. And it's like, you're hitting the S button, and try to get back into that cover, and you're like, why aren't I moving? Is there like debris? Like, assaults normally fall victim to pebbles, But you're like, what am I stuck on? Turn around, and there's like, either an Atlas there or some little medium mech. It's just like standing there.
I've had it where I couldn't even twist. That I've had someone so far up my keister that I couldn't even twist. Or you're trying to hill poke, or use your high mounts, and you peak just high enough and then try and get back, and then someone's right behind you. And so, obviously you're exposed to a firing line, and you typically go down pretty quick. But yeah, back or front, either one is just such a dick move. Don't take up this narrow space where no one can get past you. And for Christ's sakes, if you're behind someone, just hit the indicator, go out to the right or to the left, get a bit of spacing, and just don't feel like you need to be on someone's heels to effectively get into combat.
Generally speaking, you don't want to be bunched up anyway. Like, that just makes you strike bait. So spreading out and forming firing lines with overlapping lines of fire is a good tactical move, and that means not standing on someone's dick. Like,
and we do know that mine is hanging and dragging behind my mech, but which is just
standing on someone's dick is a dick move.
And that is a great way to finish. So, guys, we have talked about our dick moves, the things that rack us up a little bit and get us throwing our hands up in the air. We would be very, very keen to hear what gets you going. So make sure to leave a comment, tweet us, or send us an email about your list, all the things that you find particularly dicky, or of course tell us what you think about our ones. So a special thank you to Nikoro, our patron, for coming along today and sharing some of the things that piss him off. Did a pretty good job. How'd you find it, Nick?
It was quite fun. I think you whores made your money. So I'll leave it at that. Thanks for having me.
Hey, absolute pleasure, and we really do appreciate the support. So
don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick. Be a bro. Thanks, guys. We'll catch you next time.
Oh, Sebs.
07 mech warriors.
If you did enjoy this content, then please consider supporting us. You can do this in a multitude of ways, including subscribing to our podcast on your favourite podcast platform and leaving reviews, as well as subscribing to us on YouTube and liking our videos. You can also support us by sending us feedback either through comments, tweets, or directly through email. Tweet and follow us on Twitter at IncomingP, or email us directly at incomingmissilepodcast@gmail.com. You can also support us directly by becoming a patron or sponsor. You can find us on Patreon at Incoming Missile Podcast and choose one of 3 tiers of support. Patrons not only get mentioned on the podcast and get access to exclusive content, but can even join us as a guest host on the podcast. You can also opt to sponsor an episode through one-off donations, all of which will be used as giveaways for our listeners. So if you had a product, service, or content that you'd like us to mention, contact us to discuss sponsoring an episode. We hope you enjoyed this episode. We look forward to hearing from you. We appreciate you listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Shutdown sequence initiated.